What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Wealth Not Weight. I am your host, Joseph Coizza, and today we are talking vehicles. Specifically, my 2004 Hyundai Santa Fe. See if I can get the shot there. There we go. My 2004 Hyundai Santa Fe with 230,000 miles. 230,000 miles is quite a lot of miles to be driven for a car. We got her a couple of years ago. We affectionately nicknamed her Gigi for grocery getter. But yeah, my little Hyundai Santa Fe with its fading paint job is absolutely amazing. And now that it's reached 230,000 miles, I want to do a quick video about vehicles, the cost of vehicles, and why I drive a 2004 Hyundai Santa Fe and not something different. So let's get into the video. Aside from some things that you would expect to happen on a 2004 Hyundai Santa Fe with 230,000 miles, there really hasn't been much maintenance we had to do to it. Things like the tires had to get fixed, obviously, you have to do, oil changes and whatnot, basic car stuff, but nothing really, major, touch wood, that has happened that required it to have a lot of maintenance and or a lot of cost be put into it. And the reason why I drive the 2004 Hyundai Santa Fe, like I said before, is because of cost and reliability. I had the ability to, especially if I paid for it in cash, which would be the smart thing to do, go out and get a, maybe not newer, but a somewhat, mid-range, maybe 6 to 8 year old Corvette or Porsche or whatever, and I could pay for that in cash and then drive that around, to my heart's content. But I don't. Why? Because I have a car that was fortunately given to me for free. I got it when I turned 16. My family had bought this vehicle specifically so we could have it as a kind of beat around car and for me to learn how to drive on it, and it's become my daily driver ever since. So I'm very fortunate to have that opportunity, and I'm very fortunate to have Gigi in my life. So when you get a car for a low cost, or in my case essentially free, you don't have to go out and spend on fancy cars. You don't have to go out and spend and get something different. Now, for all intents and purposes and for full disclosure, I have another vehicle at home, but for reasons of the fact that road constantly requires maintenance, it's 20 years old, there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on with it. So the Gigi is very low cost, very high mileage, but very low cost. Gas for like $40, fill up a whole tank. Very little mileage except for everything that you have to do. Do the basics, you change the oils, tires, and whatnot. And something that a lot of people say, oh, you need, I was talking to my friend, and he was in the market for a newer vehicle because his, unfortunately, I gave out on him. So he's like, oh, he goes, you should get a new car too. He goes, I don't really think you make payments on too many things. He goes, you should start building a payment history. This was several years ago. He goes, you just start building a payment history now, because when you have to do payments later on in life, he goes, you'll be prepared. I kind of stopped the car, and I looked at him, and I'm like, that is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. Why would somebody willingly go make payments on something that they don't need? And then two, why am I preparing to make payments for later on in life? Why, if I'm not going to make payments, which I explained this to him, I'm not going to be making payments at all in my life. The only thing you have to pay monthly for is, rent and like electricity or whatever, something very basic, something very simple like that. Anything else for car payments, to additional stuff, to credit card payments, to debt, all that I'm not doing. I tell and advise people not to take out payments at all in their life. But for me especially, I'm not going to do that. And I explained to them, why would I get prepared now? That's just making debt now in life, which is a stupid idea. Which brings me into the reason why it's dumb to get a new car would be if I used every ability that I had, and I used a great deal of, if not all, of my financial resources, I can go out and purchase probably a newer vehicle. Into the car now because it is hot outside and I love air conditioning. But yeah, well, that's one of the good things that has working air conditioning. And that's what I'm saying. When you have a vehicle and it's reliable, things work, you're not going to die of heat exhaustion in it, why would you go out and purchase a new vehicle? That's something that's always bothered me, is someone's like, I just think it's time for an upgrade. But can you afford an upgrade? Can you afford to purchase a new vehicle in cash? If not, you can't afford an upgrade. Stick with the car that you have. If it's not working, if it's costing a fortune maintenance fees, then yeah, you could sell a car, you get a newer car, but don't get a new car. Don't go out and finance a car. Whatever you make off that, plus whatever you decide to add into it, you could then go and use that to purchase a vehicle in cash. Again, I could purchase a nicer, newer vehicle, possibly even like one of my dream vehicles. The car that I would realistically like to own one day is a 2005 to 2010 it's a C5 Corvette. They're a little older now. At the time when I came up with this dream, they were a little more higher priced, but a little more moderately priced now. But I could reasonably afford, or almost afford, maybe within like, another 6 months, that vehicle. But why am I not buying it? Because I can't afford it without spending all of, if not most, of my money and financial resources to do so. My credit limit was ridiculously high compared to what I made in a month. They just give you, you make $100, they'll give you fucking $3,000 to spend. That's the kind of way the credit card companies and credit lines will work. So I could reasonably go out and purchase maybe a newer, if not brand new, Corvette. A newer one is somewhere between 40, maybe 50,000, depending on the year, and a new one is about 60,000. I could finance that and go buy a new one, and a 20-year-old who makes his own money and pays for on his own, not given to him by a family member or anything like that, but who makes his own and pays for, in its entirety, a 2020 Corvette would definitely turn some heads. But why don't I do it? Because it's not a financially smart choice. That's what a lot of people don't think of. They're thinking, oh, I can go out and I can afford the monthly payments. No, financing is a stupid option, because at the end of the day, you're paying, on average, somewhere between 10 and 15% more for the vehicle, which I bet you most people don't realize, and the average car payment is $500 a month. You are building in an expense to everything you do. I remember when I pay with credit cards, and I would use credit cards quite often, I would have to take the money that I made and then immediately would go to credit cards. It doesn't even, stay in my pocket. It would immediately go out to pay a bill. Well, if you cut out that bill and you buy things when you have the cash, or you buy things with a debit card, it removes that effect for it. And that's the same thing with vehicles. Don't go out buying something you can't afford to purchase outright in cash. And then secondly, even if you can't afford outright in cash, make sure you can afford the maintenance cost. When people get money, lotto winners, especially, and then I talked about this during the Mr. Beast video, when people win money or they get money, they'll go out and buy brand new, maybe $40,000, $50,000 cars or BMWs or something like that. And then when they break down, because, foreign cars are notorious for having high maintenance costs, they can't afford the maintenance. A shock, unlike some Mercedes, like $5,000, but yet people will drop the 80 grand thinking I have 80 grand to spend. But can you afford the upkeep? Can you afford the lifestyle that comes with that? And more often than not, the case is no. That's another reason why I don't upgrade my vehicle. I could easily, this is definitely below my means for what I can afford. Being someone who's 20, my insurance is kind of high for that, but that's something that could be reasonably afforded. Gas, that's something that could be reasonably paid for. Maintenance on this car, again, touch wood, thankfully, is something that could be reasonably afforded. I'm not digging a hole myself with the lifestyle by driving this vehicle. This is a great, reliable vehicle that doesn't cost me almost anything, and in the view cost that it does is very little.
The big factor being reliability. This car is very reliable, and it's treated me very well over the years. Nice little GG. I love GG. But yeah, so it's treated me very well over the years, and there's not much aside, like I said before, some basic maintenance things to do. Changing the oil, getting new tires, maybe like a starter every now and then, over the course of several years that we've had her. There's very basic stuff that we have to do for 323,000 miles. That is ridiculous. That is a large number for any type of vehicle. And for it to run still so well, why would I get rid of it? Why would I upgrade to a new vehicle when it does everything that I want it to? It gets me from point A to point B. Sure, it doesn't look the nicest, but who am I trying to impress? Why would I go out and purchase a nicer vehicle when I have a very reliable car right here? And like I said before, and then for the full disclosure, I do have a vehicle that is a nicer looking, a nicer type of vehicle than this, and when it works I drive it occasionally, but it is a 20-year-old car and not expensive or luxurious in like a wild fashion or anything like that. A 2000 Monte Carlo SS to be specific. It is a very nice car. I got it in great condition, and I've treated it, and it's been like my baby ever since. And it's in a great condition. It's a nice sportier car, but it's not a wild, outlandishly big vehicle to own. And if you combine the two, something along those lines, you can easily get a reliable vehicle for something that's a little bit cheaper, but it's also like nicer. Yeah, a older Camaro or an older Mustang, those run in the range of, you know, 6 to 10,000 depending on the year and the type, which would be, if you probably combine the two of these vehicles, would probably be about the cost of it was about 6,000. Again, not expensive by any means. But that's also why I feel, you know, I'll drive that occasionally, I'll enjoy myself, and even when I don't and it's out for months on end, like it's been at times, I will drive GG, and you know, you miss driving a nicer car, but it's very reliable and I enjoy riding around in it. If it's reliable, it gets me from point A to point B, and it's not going to cost me an arm and a leg. Why am I going out of my way to then buy just a newer car? To what? Show off the people that I don't care about? Come on, really? That's why I wanted to do a 230,000 mile video. That's going to be it for today. What kind of car do you guys drive? And just, you know, leave a comment below. And did you buy it outright? Did you finance it? And how's it been? Has it been reliable for you? Has it not been reliable for you? Maybe this gets you in a bit of a thought process. Maybe be like, I shouldn't be paying $500 a month for a fucking car that's giving me nothing but problems. That's probably a smart idea, right? But yeah, as always, I'll see you guys next time. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It really means a lot to me personally, and it means a lot to the channel. And I'll see you guys next time.